Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Knowledge. Welcome to Brews and Reviews, and today I'm reviewing Kid Cudi and Eminem's The Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady, and I am sipping on a Full Sail Amber Ale from Oregon, a 6% Amber Ale, and this is a great beer, so let's listen to the most popular song in the world right now. Eminem and Kid Cudi. Who knew that this was a duo that we needed? It's not two people that I would have ever paired together in my dream list of collaborators, but I'm happy they came together, and now that I hear it, I know what I was missing. The song has a great structure for first-time collaborators because there's no chorus at all. It's just verses, one after the other, and for such mainstream, high-profile artists, this is a really cool structure for a song. It has no pop appeal, and when I say it has extended verses, I'm talking about 44 bars for Cudi and 54 bars for Eminem. Since this is the biggest song in America right now, someone will have to check my math on this, but I don't think there's ever been a #1 song that has verses this long and no chorus on it at all. I can't imagine any other pop, so-called pop hit that's going to have a 54 bar verse or even a 44 bar verse. And that just makes me love and appreciate where rap is at right now. The beat is simple enough to keep us engaged in these long verses, but simple does not mean bad. There's a very nice bass line that's holding it all together. There's some reverby snares and some light piano keys and just enough change-ups to keep these long verses very interesting. For example, I love the change-up in the middle of Cudi's verse that gets into some more traditional piano type of keys. So even though we have a verse of 44 bars and then a verse of 54 bars with no chorus in between, the beat makes it so it doesn't get very monotonous, but also doesn't distract from what these two MCs have to say. Cudi is first up, and something has changed in him. This is not the Kid See Ghost Cudi that we last heard. This is a rapper ready to go toe-to-toe with Eminem, and you can definitely hear that in his first bar. He wants to signal that it's a come up and a change. He starts his verse with the same attitude that we heard from LL Cool J on Mama Said Knock You Out. Of course, everybody knows LL said, don't call it a comeback. And I feel like Cudi's almost saying the same thing because he's essentially formulating a comeback, but he's also displaying a different style when he spits these first lines where he says, yeah, it's been a minute, but I'm back in it. Y'all ain't dealing with the same boy. Got a little trippy, then I transitioned. New attitude, mixed it with that pure raw. He displays versatility and rhythms throughout the verse, which is not something that we usually hear from Cudi. But again, that's what you have to do to make 44 bars interesting, and he does it very well. He continues with lines like, years ago, rehab, all good, helped me figure out another plan. It got bad, so bad, nah, I ain't fucking love that man. His rehab stint in 2016 was for depression, not for drugs, and I love him mentioning that here because you can actually hear the change in him. Something's different, and if Cudi was down before, if he was feeling the effects of that depression and he's been cured now, I hear the cured Moon Man on this single. Then after Cudi's 44 bar verse, we have no chorus, and I love how Eminem comes in. First of all, he rhymes with Cudi's last line, which is something that we used to always hear from duos and people making guest appearances, but you don't hear too much of that anymore because they're rapping in separate rooms. They're not in the studio together, so they're not playing off of each other's last words, but Eminem does that with Cudi's last words here. But another reason that I love how Eminem comes in here is because it's so understated. It's so downplayed that normally when we hear Eminem, we're going to get some kind of ad-lib warning that he's coming in. We're going to get some kind of yelling knowing that Eminem's about to come up on the track, and he just comes in and he says it so calmly. These rhymes that he says so calmly are, so if it's God you believe in, bob your head and just nod in agreement. They say time's undefeated. I'ma be the first one who can beat it. Anyone else doing a dry flow like that is not that impressive. In fact, there's some rappers that dry, monotonous tone is all they do. But Eminem, because we're so used to his cartoonishly aggressive ways, he makes it a really nice and welcome change-up type of tone on this song. Slim speaks on up-to-date topics from the very beginning, saying, "Fuck Drew Brees," which was just a few weeks ago, referring to when Drew Brees said about kneeling, "I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country." As a side note, now that the country's thinking right, can we give Colin Kaepernick a job, please? There's plenty of NFL teams that I could see him being the starting quarterback on. But I digress. Let's get into the next good Eminem lines on this, where he says, "Now if rap was b-ball, I'd be Jordan-like, bitch. You wish you could score like this. Not even at half court I'd miss. I'm mouthwash, cause if I was on the floor I'd swish." Some people say Eminem has the dad jokes of rap with these type of puns, but damn it, this is what rap's about. This is a double entendre. This is wordplay at its finest. This shows his creativity and his skill with words, that he would even think of putting words like this together into a rhyme. Aside from the very overt wordplay, you also need to appreciate the small stuff that Eminem does on this verse, where he says, "Like I got you in my top 5 worst rappers of all time." It's the pause that he creates there that makes the whole thing. And if you don't understand entertainment and you don't understand lyrics and hip hop, then you might not know to do that pause. But Eminem knows what he's doing, and he knows that the pause is everything with that line. So it becomes like jazz. It's what he's not saying that makes the whole rhyme work. He then continues with the modern lyrics. He says, "Don't want to wear a mask and they're just scoffing, and that's how you end up catching the shit off them. I just used the same basket as you shopping. Now I'm in a fucking casket from you coughing." Again, the wordplay. Casket from you coffin. He just kicked a COVID-19 double entendre that nobody else in the history of the world has the opportunity to do, because they're not living in these times, but also there's very few wordsmiths like Eminem out there. And I'm not saying he's the best in the world, but I am saying that people need to stop pretending that he fell off. Use this line as evidence. Eminem still got it. And here's some other lines that we could use as evidence. "Earthlings, I adapt to them. Certain things I don't want to do but have to in order to just act human. Like using a bathroom and vacuuming." First of all, that's a great rhyme scheme that he has running through that, but also just some different lyrics. Em is saying that he's out of this world with these rhymes, that what he's doing is so far different from everybody else that he's basically an alien, but he still has to convince you that he's human somehow by doing mundane things like vacuuming and using the bathroom. He continues kicking rhymes for the modern times when he says, "Prayers to George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. How the fuck is it so many cops are dirty?" He packed just about everything that's relevant in July 2020 into these 54 bars. Then we get a nice outro. It's simple, but it adds so much to the song. Cudi actually reminds me a little bit of You God from Wu-Tang in this outro, where he says, "The trilogy continues." I swear I've heard You God say something in that same tone where he draws out "continues." But more importantly, with this quick outro, he's giving us some very important information. For one thing, he's telling us that we got 2 more collabs to look forward to between Cudi and Eminem. It'd be hard to see how they can outdo this one, but I'm looking forward to that. And secondly, he presents some other alter egos of these two at the end of the song, where he says, "Rap God," Rager, which makes you think that the next song is going to be from those 2 personas, and can also make you speculate about the third one. What could it be? Could it be Eminem and Cudi themselves? Or could it be perhaps Marshall Mathers and Scott Muscudi? We'll see how that goes on the third version. I'm just excited for the second one to come out, and I don't even need any of them because I'll continue listening to this on repeat. This is extremely enjoyable. I love the aesthetic of the song. I love that there's no chorus, and I love that it has extended verses. I love the very timely and relevant rhymes and the new styles that both of these dudes are portraying on this song. Thank you for watching my review of Kid Cudi and Eminem's The Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady. If you enjoyed this, please hit like below. You can also hit subscribe that's popping up next to me right now, or click on some of these other videos. I'd like to see you there, and I will definitely see you next time. And until I see you then, keep buzzing.